Let me go to Paul in Missouri quickly. Hi, Paul. You're on the Glenn Beck program.
Hey, Glenn.
Hi.
I go to gun shows on a very regular basis.
All right, help us out.
And this notion that you don't have to go through background checks is ridiculous. Most people that go to the gun shows, or most vendors, are gun dealers, so you have to do a background check. There are some private sales. I mean, you can carry, like, if I want to sell my rifle, I can carry it to the gun show. They'll put a strap in it so it's safe and all that, lock the bolt back, and I can private sell it. But those don't happen that often. Probably 95% of all the sales in a gun show are background checked.
See, now this is so misleading.
Well, because they say
really
it's the private sales, right, at the gun show that don't go through the background check. Is that right? Because
none of the private sales. If I sell you, Pat, if I call you up, you're a friend of mine, and I call up and say, "Hey, Pat, I got a 9mm. Want to get rid of? You want to buy it?" Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Yeah, but
none of the private sales.
Why would you not have that background check if you do that at a gun show?
I think you can be set up as a private dealer at a gun show.
Yeah, because you're not.
You cannot be set up. If you're a dealer, then you have to go through a background check. And
but can you have a booth and sell guns at a gun show if you're as a private individual?
As a private individual, if I'm carrying a gun, or if there's someone behind a table and they have a gun for sale, that's private sale.
Right. So you're working linguistics here. Yes, he's not a dealer, but he's selling the guns at the gun show. So you're not a dealer, but you're selling the guns at the gun show, and that's what they're talking about. But it is way less than they actually sell.
That often, most people that sell guns at the gun show, most vendors, are dealers. They're licensed dealers, so you have to go through a background check. Most of them.
And they say, by the way, another stat that has been thrown out a million times by these guys is, 40% of all sales or gun sales are private sales. And now 40% of them, it's based on a ridiculous study from a long time ago. The information's outdated by decades. And it was a very small amount of sales and everything else.
I'm not gonna. You're not going to restrict. You're not going to restrict my ability to sell or to pass on to my children. If I want to pass on a gun to my children, and that's what this door is. This door is to open it up so I now have to go through, I have to produce the paperwork that shows that I own this gun because I have the original bill of sale. That's what this is doing. And so you'll weed through all of just the people who are inheriting guns, they'll all be taken. That's what'll happen.
I see. My worry about this is very Overton window. What you're talking about that has been one of the things that's been tossed around. It's not officially in the bill yet, so they'll get rid of the worst sounding stuff and put in. Maybe they'll get rid of what you're talking about. They'll put out a little exemption if you want to hand your guns down from grandparent to grandson. But they'll find another way to make it just as onerous for gun owners.
Look, the thing is, you just can't give these people any more power because they're not honest brokers. They're not honest brokers. Why are we even at the table with them? If you know that the guy you're going to buy a car from is a dirtbag, and he's the one writing the terms, and you're like, look, this is a common sense price. This is common sense. And you're like, but you're a dirtbag. Would your friends ever say, come on, just do the deal? No, he's going to write the bill of sale up. We all know he's a dirtbag, and he's going to write the bill of sale up. And he's proven himself over and over and over again. Every time he writes a bill of sale, every time he writes a contract, there's something in that. And then it comes back to bite us in the ass every single time. What friend would say to you, just do it. It's a good deal. It's a common sense deal. No. Don't get in bed with them. They make used car salesmen look like Jesus.
I know.
Get out of bed with them.
The issue with that, though, is then you wind up doing nothing, right? Because you can't trust them on anything.
So what you're saying is we got to do something?
No.
Here's what we have to do. We have to enforce the laws. What the NRA said this weekend, about Chicago is right. They're last on the list. They're last on the list of federal enforcing of the gun laws. Why? Why aren't they enforcing the rules we already have? You got to take the same stance that you have on the border. Do you believe them? Okay, we're going to do amnesty and then they'll fix the border. No, they won't.
Look, they passed a law saying that the fence would be built and it wasn't.
Right.
I mean, you're right. So when you trust them, you always get in trouble. But what do? You have to fight for your point.
Nothing.
Right?
You start to say, I want to enforce the laws we already have. No more power for you guys. Enforce the laws we already have.
I'm looking to use Overton window against them. And I want to get to I'm just going to start advocating for nuclear weapons for individuals. And then they won't go quite that far, and they'll only give us bazookas or something.
I'm willing to do it.
It's getting to that point, though, because the best reason to fight against universal background checks is because if you give them universal background checks, they will take 10 more things.
Yes.
So you better stop them before the line you really want. You better fight to the right of that line because they're going to take more than you give them, I promise.
Whenever I want wisdom.